All righty. Hello,
Michelle, can you hear
everybody.
Brittany?
Welcome to our team call. I am Michelle Stuchel. I'm a Ruby ambassador
Hello.
for Plexus.
It might
I
come in
am
on
so
a different
excited
phone.
to be here tonight sharing with Pink Power Team and Freedom Team. And again, I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties we had, but it is actually a perfect segue to talk about my topic about developing your growth mindset. Um, I have been thinking a lot about a few things over the past couple weeks. And if you are on this call, it is because you want to grow. You've set aside time on a Monday night because you have goals. You are a leader and you want to see your goals realized. And I want to grow too. I'm being very intentional about learning and implementing the wisest and most successful, what the most successful people are doing, as much as I can. Not get, not get in my life. And what I've learned, and Brittany Howard is my upline, my sponsor, saying this as long as I can remember, is that all the industry leaders are saying the same things. They are all saying the same things. And I'm going to pause for a second and see if I can mute everybody. How do I do that? They all say the same things. And I'm pausing because I can't figure out how to mute everybody. Oh well, that's just going to have to go. All the industry leaders say the same thing. There are certain skills that are going to take you where you are going to go. Nothing that I'm going to say tonight is original. It's all been said before by the leaders and by the leader. I'm a Christian, and the most successful, the creator is God, and He's the creator of success. And whether you're talking about mindset, diligence, having vision, or service, God said it first, and it's in the Bible. Okay? The first common principle that I wanted to talk about tonight is that you will
I am logging this phone because
everything replicates after its kind. You've heard it said, the speed of the leader is the speed of the team. You're going to duplicate what you are doing. If you want to Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. Mute everyone. Can you hear me now? You can hear me now. So the speed of the leader is the speed of the team. You will replicate after your kind. So if you want to determine what your team is doing, look at what you are doing. So I started evaluating what I was doing and where I was going, and guess what I found? I found a stressed out, overwhelmed mom who started to resent spending time with her kids, wanting to spend all my time on my business so I can meet my goals. But I was striving, I was stressed, and more than I cared to admit, I was overwhelmed, okay? This is not what I want to duplicate. Not at all, okay? I was completely overwhelmed. I would wake up and think, how in the world am I going to get all of this done? And that's not the way I want to be. I want to be filled with joy, okay? Some of you have seen some of my posts. My handle on Instagram is More Than Surviving Moms, because deep inside me, my passion is that I know that there's more to life, right? I know that we're not supposed to be just surviving, that we're supposed to be thriving, that we're supposed to be joy-filled, right? When all is said and done, how do I want people to remember me? I do have a point in saying all this. How do I want people to remember me? I want people to remember me, and I love Plexus and I'm thankful for it, but at my grave, I don't want people to the first thing that comes to their mind to be Plexus. I want people to remember a loving woman, a loving wife, and a mom who cared about people and that was passionate about encouraging and loving all those around her. That I was shining with love for people and that I wanted to make the world a better place, right? Because joy is attractive. That's what I want. I wanted to be a part of life giving to other people. I didn't want to be a stressed out homeschooling mom that happened to have a side gig, leaving a wake of stress and kids that are frustrated behind me. And just in case you're wondering, being like that is not a good growth strategy, okay? but being filled with joy and being led by peace is. And that's what I wanted to talk about. Think about this. What do we gravitate towards? What do we want in our lives? Why are we doing this? Why are we in this business to begin with? Because you want freedom, because you want peace. You don't want to be worried about finances. All of those things, those qualities, they don't come when you hit a level. They don't come when you get a certain paycheck. They are inherent in who you are, and you've got to cultivate those attributes. We all crave peace. We want to be encouraged. We want joy. Think about it. We gravitate towards joy. Why is Instagram growing faster than Facebook? And I have a hunch it's because people can rant and rave on Facebook, but Instagram is full of beautiful, happy pictures, and we all want joy, right? Now, lest you think, if you're a red, lest you think that I'm just being totally touchy-feely and this doesn't have something for you. This is all about achieving your goals, okay? This is all about growing into the person that you want to be and having a growth mindset. Because real growth does not mean leaving people in your wake. Real growth means caring for others, bringing them along with you, and actually caring more about them than you do about yourself, okay? The things that I actually desperately crave are the best ways to meet my goals. What do they say all the time? Who do people join when they join Plexus? They don't join Plexus, they join you. They want what you have. And more people will join you if you're full of joy and peace and you're full of life. I don't want to join someone who's stressed out and overwhelmed. So what does that mean? And what does that look like? And hopefully a couple of you will be encouraged by this. How do you know if you need an adjustment? One, you're striving all the time, thinking about who am I going to get today? Looking at your points constantly, wondering where you are. Constantly checking your phone and never putting it down. Getting frustrated because you're never getting anything done because you're milkshake multitasking. When we're striving and we're in that gerbil wheel, we're not going to thrive. The state of our heart, the state of our mindset desperately affects our business, okay? And all these leaders say the same thing. Romy, Bob Heilig, Eric Worre, they all say the same thing. And of course, it's in the Bible too. I'm convinced that when we get a hold of this, we will grow exponentially and become who we were meant to be. You guys remember from VBS or Sunday school, that acronym for joy? Jesus, others, you. Okay, I'm a Christian, so Jesus comes first. Let me say it this way. Bob Heilig, if you guys were on that leadership development call that he did a couple Saturdays ago, he said something to the effect of, the universe has brought you to this place. The universe has brought you to this network marketing company, okay? I'm a Christian and I'm going to say it like this. God has brought you here. And in Ephesians, it says that he has laid out these good works for you that you should walk in them. We've got the amazing privilege to be in a personal growth plan that has a comp plan attached to it, okay? Keep first things first. Get up in the morning. Don't check your phone. Spend time reading, meditate, pray. Don't get on your computer. Take time to listen. Take time to be thankful. Fill your cup by sitting and abiding. Bob said it like this. If you don't like where you are in your business, try being grateful. When you wake up, be grateful. Clear your mindset. The first few minutes of the day often sets the tone for the rest of the day. Make sure that you're putting first things first, okay? Another key to joy, instead of in your prayer time asking God to do all these things, try thanking him for things. Gratitude truly is the key that unlocks a host of miracles. Instead of praying for business builders all the time, be thanking God and be thankful for the people on the team that you do have, okay? So joy, keep your first things first. You gotta have your focus on others. Instead of, let me back up. We read How to Win Friends and Influence People. And what is that all about? It's about truly caring. You've heard this said 100,000 times. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. When you're talking to somebody, are you constantly wondering what you're going to say or wondering what the perfect wording is? Or are you listening to hear what their issues are and what their pain points are? And isn't that what Rami said when we read Get Over Yourself? She said, you listen and care. Stop worrying about what you're going to say and listen for their pain points. Because what do we have the great privilege of doing? We have the privilege of matching people's and identifying people's pain points with what we're doing and problem solving to be an answer to their issues. What an incredible joy. When we truly care, that will come through. Okay? Do nothing out of selfish ambition, but don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others better than yourself. So how does that translate into our IPA and into our business? Okay? I love it every time we get on an event and I'm with Christina. She always says this, and Brittany says this all the time too. She says, you know, my paycheck and my rank is a direct reflection on how many people I've been able to help. I love that. Keep that as your mindset. We are helping people instead of desperately trying to get a join or desperately trying to get our next rank. When we focus on adding value, when you focus on caring for others, you grow in the process. Do you remember at convention, John Maxwell said it like this? He said, if you focus on goals, you may hit them, but that doesn't always guarantee growth. But if you focus on growth, you will grow and you will always hit your goals in the process. Bob Heilig said this, and I love this. He said, you need to invest in others. Don't be like, think about yourself going to the friendship bank. Are you always withdrawing from the friendship bank? What happens if you keep withdrawing from your account and you never put anything in? You bounce. There's nothing left. Don't always withdraw. Invest in your friendship bank. Invest. And this takes time. We want to grow. Let me just phrase it like this. I want to grow. I want to grow fast. I want things now. But guess what? That's not the way it works. People are not, this is another Brittanyism. People are not efficient. They take time. But guess what? That's the kind of return you want. Let's talk about your team. Are you helping them reach their goals? Do you even know what their goals are? Or are you assuming that their goals are your goals? I'm preaching to myself here. Do you know what they want and how can you help them reach their goals? There was a video that was floating around about a month ago about how this woman, it was last month, she was a gold and she had lost her status and she re-ranked to gold and got to senior gold in the same month. You know how she did it? She focused on her team. She found out everyone in her downline, what their goals were. And then she was a cheerleader. She gave away incentives. Anytime they met a goal, she posted it on their team page. She gave them and cared more about them than her own points. And guess what? In the process, she crushed her own goals and got her double bonus and made it to senior gold. Okay, Jesus, others, you. What is in your cup? Because whatever's there is going to come out. The question is not, are you going to get knocked? It's when are you going to get knocked? And what's going to come out when you do, okay? Take time in the morning, take time for yourself, preferably in the morning. I have to have a little bit of time to myself before my kids get up or my mindset is discombobulated. So take time in the morning to fill your cup, okay? Let's talk about practical strategies that will enable you to move forward in confidence. Here's one that I love. Plan your week in advance, okay? When do you do your IPA? Do you kind of fly by the seat of your pants, fitting it into the nooks and crannies of your day? This is what the nooks and crannies of my day looked like. I'm homeschooling my kids. They're doing math. They don't need me right now. I'd get on my phone. They'd ask me a question, and I would get annoyed at them for asking me a question. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out that that's not effective. Because now here I am resenting my kids, and I'm not paying attention to my message. Milkshake multitasking doesn't work. But if you plan your IPA, I can spend my quality time with my kids, homeschooling them, and then spend an hour from 1 to 2 just doing new messages. That is far more effective. And if I've planned it out well, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. I'm so much more effective in that time than if I've tried to mix it all together and it's a hodgepodge and completely ineffective. So do you have specific times for messaging new people? What about for follow-up? What about getting in touch with your dream teamers? And what about your team building? Now, some people do everything every day. Some people do massive amounts of new messages on Monday, and then they do follow-up on Tuesday. Whatever it is, what is your system to be effective for you? Please don't self-deceive and think just by a lot of activity that you're being effective. I was great at that. But milkshake multitasking, as Dr. Caroline Leaf says, is not effective. And all it will yield is frustration, okay? Do one thing at a time, do it well, and move on. Evaluate what's working and what's not working. What do you need to implement? Here's the deal, people. Most of us know what we have to be doing. The difference is actually doing it. Is it talking more about the business? Is it following up with people? Is it making sure that your people are taking their products? What do you need to be implementing to continue to move forward? Are you actually talking to people about Plexus, or are you just spending hours creating the perfect post? That was a big self-deceiving mechanism that I had. I spent so much time trying to brand and get the perfect Instagram page that I wasn't spending as much time talking to people. People don't want perfection, they want vulnerability. Do you remember at convention, I forget who it was that said it, she said, vulnerability is one of the most important things we look for in people, but one of the last things that we offer. Be vulnerable. You don't have to be perfect. Get your post up. It's more important to talk to people about Plexus than to create the perfect post, okay? And be vulnerable and real. They don't want the Photoshop, they want you. And the last thing, I don't know what I just hit on here. The last thing I wanted to talk about in terms of joy is a joy thief, which is comparison. And we all know this. Comparison is the thief of joy. Here's the deal. Your journey is your journey. I listened to a video in the Rockin' Rubies page by Clarita Yoder, and I'll probably just start tearing up thinking about it. And there was so much wisdom that dripped from her mouth. And she said, be grateful for where you are. You cannot compare yourself to somebody else. Everybody has a different skill set. Everybody has a different path. We can look and learn from other people. Like, I look all the time at Christina Williams and I learn from her because she's a master recruiter, but I cannot compare myself to her because I'm not her. If I compare myself to her, I start feeling, like I can't compare, I can't keep up, I'm not doing enough. I have to look at what I have before me, what I need to improve upon and move forward, okay? Again, what Bob said, gratitude is the key that unlocks a host of miracles and in the environment of miracles. When we are comparing ourselves, we're not being grateful. I challenge you to start being grateful, because as you are grateful, guess what? Joy will come, because joy is not dependent on circumstances. It's a deep-seated soul fulfillment that propels you forward. Clarita also said this. She said, the state of your heart affects the state of your business. Be led by peace and joy, and people will flock to you. It's not touchy-feely. It's actually a growth strategy because people want to be a part of that. As we continue to focus on these things about caring for other people, about putting others' needs first, about keeping our eyes on the prize, we've got to remember that there is joy in the process. So here's my last couple questions for you. What is one thing you need to implement? You probably can come up with it right off the top of your head. What's one thing you need to implement to make you more effective? Is it set aside business hours? Is it talking about the business more? What is it for yourself? The second question I have for you is this. How can you care more for others? How can you have the others mindset? Not only for people you're prospecting, but for people on your team. Do you know what their goals are? Have you talked to them, or are you assuming that their goals are your goals? And then I want to encourage you with this. Okay, there's a verse in the Bible that says, let peace be the umpire of your soul. Okay, what does an umpire do? The umpire in a ball game calls the ball, right? It's either in or out. As peace is the umpire of your soul, you will move forward. This is not about not having goals and, how shall I say this? Not moving forward with a laser focus. Life is full of paradoxes. You can be laser focused, but you don't want to run over people and mow over them. You don't want to be too others focused because then you never get your own stuff done. There's balance in the process. So where can you implement peace in your daily process? Because I guarantee you, as your mindset changes to be joy focused and focused on peace, you will begin to grow. I think that is all I had for everybody. So I hope you guys have a great night. I hope some of you were encouraged. And I'm going to stop the recording and we'll see you all next week.